Hello, my dear creative friend. Namaste and welcome to this video. I'm so glad that our paths have crossed, that you happen to see this video and click on it. I think there might be a reason behind that. I wanted to speak a little bit with you today and hear your thoughts in the comments as well. Let's talk about what we do when we feel discouraged as creative writers and as creatives of any kind. So even if you're not a creative writer, this applies to any form of artistic expression. It's easy to get discouraged in this modern age where we have so many different things vying for our attention on a constant basis. We wake up in the morning and we're bombarded by information coming at us through our phones and through perhaps TVs or people in your lives that are maybe encouraging you in different directions, and you don't know which way to look, which way to turn, and maybe everything seems to be pulling you in a different direction. Maybe some of this results in you feeling discouraged about your art, whether or not you're on the right path or are you wasting your time. It's easy to get discouraged. But I believe that if we can pull back and examine what is this actual emotion that we're feeling pass through us, we'll begin to realize that we're actually just taking on a certain lens that we've decided to look at our lives through. And oftentimes this lens is created by external influences, societal influences, things we see online, whether it's comparing ourselves to others or reading articles about how we should be judging and assessing our creative endeavors. So when it really comes down to it, when we feel discouragement, it's because we find ourselves sitting in a place of judgment. Judgment of ourselves, judgment of what we're making and what we're producing and whether or not it's good enough or a great enough quantity or being created fast enough. We come out of the seat of the creator and we begin to seat ourselves in the judgment seat, overlooking our work, like a taskmaster deciding whether or not we've done a good enough job. And oftentimes the rules, this metaphorical rule book that we're passing judgment on ourselves with is given to us by someone else. It's passed down to us from society and this evolution of society over many years, and now we are sort of left with this certain benchmark that we feel we need to reach or achieve. And the internet and social media and this ever-present critic in our pockets can remind us of that. It can remind us of, oh, look at what that person's doing. Look at what that artist is making. Look at what that writer has done. They've published this work. Is it as good as yours? Does yours measure up to that? Perhaps the reason we feel discouraged is because we're actually measuring ourselves against something that should never have been a benchmark. It should never have been the measuring stick that we're using to put ourselves up against. Maybe we shouldn't be judging ourselves at all. Maybe discouragement isn't the thing that we need to get out of. Maybe we don't need to just find motivation. That's the Band-Aid. That's the remedy for a very temporary remedy, something that will make us feel better for a while. I can get motivated. I can watch 5 minutes of motivation. Start your day every day watching this video with this epic music, and now I feel ready to go. But then that feeling comes back because we haven't found the root cause, which is we are judging ourselves based on someone else's standards that someone else that will probably never meet, someone else that may not even have our best interests at heart came up with. This sort of collective societal jargon that's managed to, much like plant matter and algae on the surface of a pond, has sort of collected into this one collective, not by anyone's efforts, but here we are in it, and now we're we feel like we need to engage that because that's where we happen to be. We happen to be in this societal soup, and this is how things are done, and this is how we should assess our work and our productivity. We have to be productive every day, and we have to be cranking out the words and getting published by a certain age and time by certain publishing houses. And where is all this coming from? Because I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not coming from within. And when it's not coming from within, we need to seriously stop and ask ourselves, is this even the path I should be on? Is this the sort of self-talk that I should be engaging in? And most of the time, the answer you're going to find is going to be no. And that's exciting because that's an invitation for you to embark on your own journey. Leave it all behind. Let go of these standards, let go of these judgments and criticisms of yourself that you've adopted and made your own. We don't have to take on those criticisms and judgments of ourselves. We don't have to condemn ourselves. It's not for us to judge. Maybe it's for us to enjoy. When it comes down to it, isn't that what we want to do with our art? Isn't that what art is about, is finding expression and joy and sharing something that's important to us and that will maybe be important to someone else for some reason, ultimately leading them to some form of a better life or inspiration or joy or questioning and leading them on a higher path? Isn't that sort of some of the things art is supposed to help provoke, to help forward? Well, let's let that start with us first. Let's take that on ourselves. Let's release this need to judge ourselves. And as we release the need to judge, we'll find that our disappointment doesn't need to be motivated away. It doesn't need to be talked away or picked apart, pulled apart, understood. We'll find that the disappointment in ourselves, the discouragement, automatically evaporates because it was simply a symptom and a byproduct of feeling this need to judge ourselves based on some standard that someone else made. Every single thing out there, every piece of writing advice that's telling you you need your book to be a certain way or you need your art to amount to a certain thing or to do a certain thing, that was never something that you had to make your own. We don't have to make that our own. That is merely another person's opinion, and maybe it works for them, but it doesn't have to become your standard. We can release the need to judge ourselves, and we'll find that disappointment begins to evaporate as we release our grasp on this need to be a certain level of productivity for our art to be a certain thing. And I think it can make us a lot happier. This is a simple concept, but I thought it was worth discussing because I know a lot of us here have dealt with that. I know I've dealt with it. I've been disappointed in things that I've created or bummed out over not being able to have a good writing day or something like that. And I was thinking about it more lately, the past few days, and I was realizing, hey, this is because I have this standard and judgment of, oh, okay, it has to either be this or it's not good. That's me judging, not me engaging the act of creation, because the creator works from a place of bliss, not from a place of judgment. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me below in the comments if you struggle at all with feeling disappointed or burnt out as a writer, or as an artist of any kind. How do you come back at that? What sort of dialogues are you having within yourself when you feel this way? I released a video recently letting you guys know that my new course is out as well, and it talks a lot about these aspects of staying nourished, mind, body, and spirit, backing away from this place of judgment and tapping into that divinity within us through nourishing and moving the body, through having these important conversations, discussing stuff like this, I think is so important. Acknowledging it, tapping into, yes, that's there. We need to move past this need to accept all these different systems of thinking, all these different judgments of our work, so that we can truly flourish. And we're also incorporating yoga, recipes, all kinds of stuff. It's a really fun 10-day journey. And so if some of this spoke to you, you might want to go check it out. It may or may not be right for you, so you can check it out and see what you think of it. But I invite you to do that. I've spent about a year working on it, so it's very fun, and I'm very open to like engaging it with you. You can email me and let me know how you're doing on the journey, and I would be really humbled to be able to partake in it with you. So check that out if you'd like, and let me know in the comments, how do you move through these feelings of discouragement? Do you find that as you back away from self-judging, that you find yourself relaxing and being able to create from a place of bliss? How do you find that creative bliss? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. It always means the world to me to hear what's speaking to your heart lately. This is a conversation, not just me talking into the ether. I love to see what's been on your heart and mind. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe this message reached you in a positive way and spoke to you. Please feel free to share it with any creative that you think might benefit from it. And of course, if you feel drawn to give in any way, you can find my Patreon and my Etsy shop below. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because I would love to know that you'll be here when I post the next one. Have a creative and blissful rest of your day, my friend. I wish you so much joy in your journey. Namaste.